what I'm thinking about doing right now. Usually I have some idea. I think this has happened the last couple of times. So I drew, let's draw like a bell pepper person. We all know what a bell pepper looks like. Gosh, I actually drew like a nice bell pepper, like a real, hi Oddfud, a real bell pepper illustration recently. And then I just like left it's sitting in my drafts. I have to like finish it up. And it was supposed to be an easy one because it's just a story that I wanted to tell from a personal experience about my hey adventures, about my like discovering that I have obsessive disorder, which is totally fun and I love it. So let's give this guy some eyes. I'd say usually I draw these little weird characters facing front. Let's have this guy facing to the side. We'll give him a nose. This guy, for some reason, is very serious. Hey, Winter Devil. He is a very serious bell pepper. I wasn't going to give him like a whole body, but I wanted to have a tie, so I guess he gets a body. Unless, can we just like hang a tie off of his neck like SpongeBob? Does SpongeBob ever do this? We'll just hang a tie like off of where his chin should be. Let's see how weird this looks. And then we'll just give him legs. This was my original plan. Just little legs. That leg looks terrible. That's fine. And arms. Sort of like Mr. Potato Head, but Mr. Bell Pepper Face. Mr. Potato Head had some other name before he became Mr. Potato Head. I can't remember. I just learned it I think I was playing a game of trivia and it was a question. All right. So I wanted to do bell pepper face. Let's throw a little red on there. I assume that's the best flavor of bell pepper. I just don't like green. I think a green bell pepper tastes terrible. But red, yellow, orange, they're all fine. Yellow's pretty good, actually. All right, Mr. Bell Pepper. Who's Mr. Oh, I was thinking of having him talk to just like a habanero. Hang on, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, we have Mr. Bell Pepper, and he's talking to, I think he's just talking to a hunk of cheddar. Like, yeah, a hunk of cheddar. Let's see. Like this, like one of these guys. Let's see. There we go. And like somebody's rolled down the plastic. And like half pulled it down, half cut the cheese really bad. There we go. And it says like, let's see, it'll say cheddar probably going up the side. Let's have it come down this way. CHE DA. So I'll just do like AR here at the end. Oh, DAR probably cheddar. What? How do you spell cheddar? Why? I cannot spell apparently. I know I can't spell. I have no visual imagination. You'd be surprised how hard it is to spell when you cannot imagine what the word looks like. I can tell when words are spelled wrong. I just can't friggin' tell if I'm spelling them wrong. I'm changing it to cheese. I know how to spell cheese. E-S-E. All right, let's throw some yellow on that one. You'd see this through the plastic wrap. So I'm going to go light there, and then we're going to throw a little blue on the plastic wrap. Makes it look like plastic, makes it look like there's like, what's it called? You know, printing on it. Pour cheese. We're going to use a little orange to give this cut some shadow. All right. These are doofs. Let's just keep going. I'm going to draw something. I had a request for curly hair. Let's just draw. I was going to draw a big-headed person. So I draw these little caricature type dealios. So I'm thinking where I don't have her available. I don't know where those drawings are. They're put away somewhere. I did look, and I have shown it on 2 different lives. Phoebe Sunderman. Oh, welcome, Jeff. Welcome. But I don't remember what she looks like, but I am drawing a person right now. And they're going to have curly hair, so I don't know if Phoebe Thunderman had curly hair. Okay, so we're going to have this part of her hair coming in front of her ear, covering it. And then we'll do this one, will be kind of pushed behind the ear. And the bottom will still have to come out, but we get a little bit of like a pin right there because it's tucked behind the ear. And we're just going to erase some of these guidelines. Is this on camera? There we go. Erase some of these guidelines. I tried to throw a body in here real quick, but then I changed the scale of it so it looks totally out of place. Okay, we'll do the eyebrows are here. If you do the circle and you cut it right in half, that's where the eyes are. So sometimes I throw the eyebrows there and kind of push everything down a little bit. So this is the chin, right? This is the center of the face. This is the chin. So here's the mouth, which means here's about the nose, which means here's about the eyes and eyebrows. There's so many different shaped eyes, and it can really change the look of a face. Man, I am like, I don't know. Which is our girl. We'll get more detailed in her face in a minute after we know what she's doing. Okay, there's a trick in fashion drawing where you're supposed to do shoulders and hips. Let's do that. we'll draw the hips in. I just draw 2 circles and kind of connect them like a sidewards hourglass or an infinity sign for hips. Generally works. And then you have the legs come out from near the bottom. We're doing a little bit Pixar because I've given her hips very wide. So this leg will probably, which one will be bent? This, Okay, shoulders. I'm going to zoom out a while. I'm giving her like a tricorder or something. Sort of like Star Trek, I guess. It wasn't my intention to draw Star Trek right now. It's still not my intention. I have no intention. That is strangely true. I'm gonna bring our hips in just a while, just a little bit, make it a little bit more realistic. That was getting in the way, as I'm sure it would in real life if your hips were that wide. And then what would, so this leg is probably gonna be the leg she's standing on because it's really close to underneath her head. We'll get the foot later. So then this one, she's probably like, oh, you know what? I stand like this all the time, where it's like, it comes in and then I'm like, this is here. I like, I stand on like my toe. Like that. Sort of sometimes up against my other ankle. Yeah, a lot like that. So now she stands like that. Man, whenever I draw characters standing around or doing anything, I'm always like feeling what the movements would be like in my own body. I don't know why. I want to know if anyone else regularly draws people posing. Like, is that something that happens to you? If you're in the future and you're watching this, I know a few people do watch this on repeat, on video on demand. Comment, let me know if that happens to you. Okay, so this one is falling in front of her face. We'll have it also be falling in front of her shoulder. Maybe it splits and gets a little bit thinner at the shoulder so her arm has a place to come out. And this one will have go totally behind her shoulder. This arm moves backwards, this arm comes forward. And then her hand rests like on whatever this is. We don't really know. Okay. I'll draw the stretched fabric and the shadow there. We'll have the shirt kind of come in like that. And then we made this front leg a little bit more realistic. And I don't think we matched it with this one. So let's bring it in just a little bit more. Yeah, we'll have the shirt just kind of hang off a little bit. And then let's just put like, what is like, we see it sometimes now. It's like this futuristic tech wear. I'm trying to think of what it looks like. I'm putting like a parachute webbing on. I feel like that's a thing. And she can put whatever she wants in this little pocket. She's got a holster for her uh, tripod. I'm not sure what she's doing there. Little pockets. Let's bring this in, do this a little. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I don't hate it. Let's see what we do with the hair here. I'm trying to get my brain to think of hair for a second. There we go. So we want to shade some of these valleys. You can separate out individual curls. I like to do that just at the ends, which like hints that they exist, but you don't have to go through and like make sure they're there the whole time. You can do these little separations. I think that helps. She's really scrunching her forehead, so let's scrunch her forehead and give her some eyebrows that are scrunching with it. That's a little too intense. We'll just kind of give that a little erase. Oh, we have to give her an ear. We had her hair going behind her ear this whole time, and we didn't draw her ear in. Okay, there's her ear. There's some hair. We've given her some facey freckles. We'll finish the hair behind that we didn't have. It does come down past her armpit on this side. So that's right. Comes out her arm there. Is she Starfleet? Did we decide? Let's just make her Starfleet. We'll make her this one. I don't know the Starfleet uniforms, so I'm just half remembering. But I think it goes like that. It's like red up until a point, and then it's black underneath that. Oh, and then we don't even need a holster. This will just be, oh, thank you so much. Hey, Ben, welcome. This will just be like, so now that we've decided she is Star Trek, um, they don't use holsters. Things just stick to their clothes. I read about the like production and how they figured it all out and how they did it and like why. It's interesting. They do a lot of like cuts to hide the fact that things are just Velcroed. So they'll like have a character take it off and then it'll cut to a new scene, or they'll make sure not to see so you can't see the Velcro that's left over. Gosh, I have not watched a lot of modern Trek. I don't even know what a modern tricorder looks like. Okay. Let's make this thing like something interesting over here. She can be holding, like, I don't know. Let's use purple is like an interesting color. Man, okay. So there is a couple next door. I think it's this couple. A new couple moved in next door. There's two different couples uh recently, like in the apartment building across the in the next area, whatever it is, right next door. And since then, you can often hear like a man yelling. Oh yeah. I didn't like that at the time. I didn't know it existed at the time. I think I would have liked it at the time. And then when I went back to watch it, I had already heard such terrible things, but I really enjoyed it. It's Enterprise, yeah, Enterprise. I think it's really good. I think it's different from the other ones, and that's okay. And I think the ending was a little I think they it could have been better handled, but that's can be said about a lot of properties. But some of my favorite Star Trek stories of all time are from that series. You have T'Pol tells a story of them going back to Earth, uh, the like pre first contact, like 1970s Earth. It's almost like a time travel episode, and it's like her. It's not like her, but she plays the character, and it's a couple episodes. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. Some great characters. I like how what they did with like early Star Trek lore. You have like Star Trek is like the science division, and so you still have like a military division, the war college or whatever. I think that's fun. I think like that had not really been figured out in the rest of the show. So it was cool to see that. Let's add some shadow. We'll add a little red for tone also. Let's get a little shadow under the hair, around the corners of the face, on the chin, on the under the eyes. Okay. I think hair, let's just go brown. Yeah, and then like I don't know, good stories, good storytelling most of the time. Like some weak episodes for sure, but I think a really good and often overlooked Star Trek series. I know people really don't like the theme song. I have to admit, I was a little put off by the theme song, but I think the show speaks for itself. It's great. Okay, I'm gonna like instead of doing shine, I'm gonna come in and do like saturation. I hope that'll kind of it should do stand in for it pretty well. Okay, yeah, we might have to add a little more shadow and depth to the hair, but I think this is a good start. We'll do a little red. Do I have a better red than this? This one will be fine. A little red on the nose and the forehead. This will make them look too much red on the lip. There we go. Oh, that's great. Yeah, there's like a lot of episodes featured that are like that. Like there's an episode about like gender and non-binary and like taking gender, and it features like Riker, and he is, gosh, I don't remember a ton of the episode, but the whole morality of the episode focused on like the norms of the culture over the wants of the individual. And even though, or not even over the wants of the individual, because the individual was consenting and wanted what was the ultimate outcome. But it was different from what Riker would have expected from Federation, but they weren't in the Federation. So like that can be a real, I think this flesh color will fill out some of this. I should call it peach, not flesh color. This peach, what do they call it? They don't have a name for it. There's another episode, right, where Trip, he goes to, and this is Enterprise. The other one I was talking about would have been Next Generation. But there's an episode where Trip, I'm going to use this brownier brown for the shadows. I should stop doing the hair. It's not that. We can move on. We could draw something else. He, like, I think there's an exchange, a cultural exchange, and he, like, hangs out with this woman on the other ship for a while, and essentially she gets him pregnant, right? And he's like, how could you do this to me? And some of the episodes played up for laughs, like, a man is pregnant, haha. It was like 2006 or whatever. But the interesting thing about it to me is like he didn't understand, or she didn't understand. To her, she was like, well, you were doing all the things that people do when they want me to get them pregnant. And he was like, oh, in my culture, that's just called being friendly. And like this cultural misunderstanding was so severe. And like that, I think you could totally imagine something, I mean, not quite that, but something similar to that. All right. Happening in real life nowadays. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about. Hmm. There, size of a country. Maybe. I'm not the Enterprise itself, right? It was big, but I don't think it was. I mean, maybe no, I don't think it was that big. Not the size of a country, but there were. Didn't is this the episode with Trip, right? Is that they were riding a ship that was the size of a country, right? That species. Okay. Let's do another character. We did a Star Trek lady. Let's do a Star Trek lad. We'll do a like a superhero jaw. I don't usually do that, but I feel like a Star Trek lad. Okay, that'll be the hair. This will be the nose. This will be the mouth. Oh, no, we'll make the mouth a little bit higher because we want it to have like a dope chin. The dope chin. Jesus, I'm old. Okay. Why don't we give him some squinty Clint Eastwood eyes? So up and then out, up and out, and then like. That's too much. That's too much. Okay. Let me just draw a little guidance here. Okay, this will be the eyebrows. And we'll just move the eyes down a little bit, but we'll still try to make them squinty Clint Eastwood eyes. I think we'll do that just like this. There we go. We've done his chin, kind of looks like his mouth. That's okay. We'll get his mouth back. Give him a little nose. Wait, where's the center here? The center line is like here, right? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it gets confusing looking like between the... Yeah, so I was thinking about that. In Enterprise, like, I think they do talk a lot about like where they're going, but and I know they specifically return to Earth like at one point because there's an attack on Earth that mimics like the attacks on 9/11. Um, but I feel like you're right. I feel like they encounter like a lot of species and stuff just like out in space, like doing their own exploration. They're not like I'm trying to think if we should give them like a how we're gonna give them like a stiff upper lip. And we can have his mouth open a little. I think maybe that'll do it. Let's turn his mouth corners up just a bit to give him like a little bit of a friendlier appearance. Okay, I'm feeling this. Get his teeth. Okay. Nope, I was holding my breath. Sometimes when I'm drawing specific features on people, I hold my breath. Okay. The hair, the hair, the hair, the hair. What's his hair gonna look like? Something like this or there. The hair, the hair, the hair. I want it to look mostly military. I feel like that's how Star Trek would look. We'll give him a widow's peak. And we'll make something relatively short. I think we've kind of nailed it here. Erase some of these guidelines, erase some of these whiskers. We'll get his cheeks squared off correctly. I think this side's great. This side could use a little something something. Oh yeah, he's definitely going to need ears. Is this eye lower than the other eye? So where the camera is makes it a little bit difficult to draw things straight because I usually put my head where the camera is, basically, is the reason why. And so I'm getting better at it. I'm getting more practice. I'll give him some dimples. All right. Okay. Shoulders. I've been drawing all my characters really tiny for some reason. I love it. Like big heads, little bodies. Well, his hips are going to be about the same width as his shoulders because man, well, classic drawing man. Okay. And then, yeah, I just don't have enough space for the rest of his body. Oh, should we have done curly hair on him too? Nah, this is fine. Okay. This guy was fun. Oof. Let's see. So this is who I was just drawing. I think she looks a lot like a character I was drawing for a comic that I never really started working on. This is when I first started illustrating. The character was a space girl. I didn't realize how much she looked like her, and then I even gave her a similar job as, um, she's a Star Trek, so she's very similar to what Space Girl would have done. Space Girl, I did like a whole base for the character, like like a regular OC character creation, a little bit of the universe. And I thought I would draw comics of her, but I never. And this was when I first started drawing, and it was like a great thing to get me started, but it was like something that was unrealistic. Like there was no way I was going to really get into that at the moment. And then her spaceship was like was just like almost like a school bus, but about the size of a school bus actually. But it was like not exactly a featureless rectangular prism. There were some retractable windows. There was like an antenna, probably. I can't remember exactly. Oh, yeah, there was an antenna. I like this style of spaceship, I think. There was some sci-fi book I was reading. I can't remember which one. It was good. And it was talking about how, oh, and there's vents, right? Like there has to be a lot of vents in space for heat control. And they were talking about how, like, spaceships eventually just became skyscraper sized and shaped once they started building them in space because, like, they were never going to be going into atmosphere. So it did not matter. Like, what that, like, something being aerodynamic didn't mean anything. That was all just aesthetic. And so that inspired me to think in thinking of this. And then in the lore of Space Girl, um, she is a student in school in like a special type of elite private school that like was set up by people from like the people who send their children to the school, like they can't choose it. The school chooses them, and they don't really know anything about it either, which is like, I don't know, it seems dumb, but it's how things are done in their society. And the people who do go to that school gain an immense amount of skills. They're already from powerful families most of the time. They make incredible connections. And the school's good. I mean, it's not just the networking and the status. It's also the school teaches you, like I said, invaluable skills. They basically teach them how to be like space military. I'm just drawing. The light's coming from this direction. Then all these things. Oh, I guess it's coming from this direction. No, it's not. It's coming straight from this direction. The spaceship is lined up with it. And so all these things have these shadows, even if they're really close to the ground. They'll have shadow because, like in space, everything's really harsh. There's no atmosphere. So this is something I didn't realize is like the reason shadows on Earth are not like super crisp like they are in like video games a lot of times, or old video games anyway, is because of the atmosphere. Like, which makes sense when you think about it, because that's also what like makes the sky blue, and like it is messing with it. Wait, yeah, there's light scattering, right? That's the problem. That's not a problem. That's why it's happening. It's because the light is bouncing off of all sorts of stuff, including the atmosphere. And because of that, you get this like fuzzy shadow effect. I'm making it just a little bit off center. Okay. Yeah. Well, this would be like you'd have to put all sorts of. I think to sell it as a spaceship in all the spaceships and stuff I've done a little bit of work for a video game that didn't end up coming out, but I've done some other illustrations of spaceships and stuff, and I feel like all of the ones, and for me, it's my personal style is like what they call NASA punk, right? So like kind of like built industrially. For me, I like to think of them as like fabricated in a way in like the 1950s, but or harkens back even to like the battleships of World War II and that kind of thing. Like I like thinking like, oh, this spaceship was put together by a Rosie the Riveter. And I think part of that is like you'll see some of those really old machines from the 40s or even earlier sometimes, or buildings, right, that were constructed in the 40s. And like, yeah, there's been maintenance on them and stuff, but also they were just constructed in a way that people were like, we're just going to build this once. We do not want to deal with this again. And like part of it is material sciences, right? They were building out of materials that they had to make them extra strong and extra like thick and extra resilient, etc. Just because like they only had steel, and if you want steel to do this, it has to like it wasn't quite as good as our steel. So if you wanted it to do this and hold up to this pressure, etc., etc., it had to be a certain thickness, and they wanted to build to like make sure it was going to look great or make sure it was going to work and everything would be safe. There was not like, and because of that, they would make things like extra thick or extra bolted on or things like that. And so I like to think of spaceships from the future kind of goes back to that almost over engineered. And it's just, in my mind, it would just be a consequence of space, of living off Earth, right? So once you're out in the wilderness of space, metal becomes much, 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 much cheaper. Uh, Metal is a limited resource on Earth, and it is practically an unlimited resource in space. You just knock by any asteroid, and like that asteroid that they whacked with a probe, was it the Japanese? Someone whacked with a probe and got some of the information back from it, got some of the material back from it. That's estimated to have trillions of dollars. It might even be hundreds of trillions. I don't quite remember, but trillions of dollars of like metal on it, like nickel and iron and that kind of thing. And like tons and tons of water is out in space. So like water, and once you get past the technological hurdles of actually like if you're living out there, you get past those things and you're actually mining it. It's incredibly cheap. And if you're living out there also, you want your ships and your things to be the safest absolutely possible. And so to me, with those two things combined, you're going to end up with thick walled, industrialized ships. I'm going to take away the shadow on this and instead show that it's indented here. So this would be in shadow, and this would be in shadow. So this bottom part would be lit up, but you'd still be able to see the line. Okay. But this part would be in shadow because that's where the light's coming from, so that's blocked. Okay. And then, it's glass or whatever replaces glass in the future. Clear aluminum. Did you know? So clear aluminum is a plot point in one of the Star Trek movies. I forget which one, the one with the whales and the original series characters. And in that movie, the engineer Scotty gives away the recipe. My goodness. The molecular recipe for clear aluminum so that they can fabricate a ship for him. A tank for the whales. Oh, this is not speed lines. This is light. This thing doesn't have propulsion like that. And, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, they discovered that there really is clear aluminum. At the time, it was just totally made up. But now we think, or now I don't know if it's actually been constructed, but now we know it's possible. Yeah, so that's my TED talk on why I think spaceships will look like this in the future. Because asteroids, you can mine asteroids for metal. And that's pretty much the whole thing. I guess it wasn't really a TED talk. Oh yeah, safety. If you're living out in space, you do safety even more than we do now. Okay. So this is the classic cube problem. If you have light, let's say the light, what do we have the light coming from, like, yeah, just this kind of direction. Just here, we'll take it. It's coming from that direction. So this should have been a little bit this way. But we didn't do that. So this will be the darker side, because the sides all have different darknesses. You need 3 different darknesses. You have dark, the one that's not in light. You have light, the one that's in the light, directly in the light. And then you have slightly less light, or slightly less dark, depending on what your light setup is. What you can also do is, like, make sure that things that are far away are darker. Because even though that doesn't track in universe, it's how our brains work. And so you can create illusionary depth by sort of cheating on your illustrations and making things that are far away darker. Even if, like, in universe, they might be perfectly lit. Yeah. And that's because things that are farther away generally bounce off less light, and so our brain sees them as darker, and that works like most of the time. And so you can use it like that. And like now that we've added some darkness here and here, here, this whole chunk and this whole chunk here, things that are far away. We should do probably this one here. Kind of, and it doesn't have to be a huge amount, but it makes the 3D effect stronger. It's so strong I can see that I should have used a ruler. Anyway, I would make this ship travel in just a puff of smoke, like a vacuum. Space rushing in to fill. I guess it would be funny in space, which is already close to a vacuum, right? There wouldn't be. Now I'm trying to think. Okay, so if you have a bottle, I'm going to draw a very simple bottle so that I can move on to talking about it. If you have a bottle and you fill it with water, make it even, bud. Okay. And you fill it with water. We'll say that's like a, very simple. Anyway, filled with water, right? And you hit the top so that the bottle travels down at a speed, and then the water stays behind, right? So the bottle moves down, and it moves down faster than the water moves down. And it creates this space here. This is what I'm talking about. If you had a spaceship disappear, like in a puff of magic or, warp drive or whatever, it would kind of do this. And you have this space where there's no water. And that's a vacuum because it was filled and now it's not. It's filled with nothing because the bottle moved and the water didn't. And because of that, when the water rushes back in even faster than it would have fall because there's a vacuum there and the atmosphere is pushing on it, everything's happening to make it move back in there. And it moves back in so fast that it often creates a little explosion. And so if you hit someone on top of their bottle, say at a bar, and the bottom of their bottle blows out, which happens, it's because there's been a tiny little explosion here when the water rushes back in to fill the cavity. And that explosion is so powerful, it's hotter than the sun, that it just blows the bottom off the bottle. So I was thinking, if you have a spaceship like that QB spaceship I was just drawing, and it's suddenly gone from space, it would sort of like this is, you know, all of a sudden it's not there. It's teleported away, or it's whatevered away, right? It's warp drived away. And it's like, and then it disappears. Everything would rush in, but it's already a vacuum, right? Like space is practically a vacuum. There's maybe like 3 particles out here. So are they going to rush in? But it's not going to matter, right? Like they're going to rush in, and then there'll be 2 particles here, and like it'll hit equilibrium really quickly. So like nothing's going to happen. But if this is in an atmosphere of a planet and that happened, I'm sure there'd be like one of those explosions, a cavitation, because you don't need water, right? If it happened in the water, there would certainly be a cavitation. That's how like shrimp, uh, punching shrimp work. All right, let's draw an animal. I've been messing around. I don't hate what I've got here, right? We have like a square AF spaceship. I like that. This is where the heat radiators deploy, and it'll come out and be like all like crazy. So like it's square AF right now, but that's because it's about to travel. Usually it has all these things sticking out of it, right? Anyway, we drew a not Star Trek character. It's not Star Trek. It's a star shirt. Anyway, no, that doesn't work either. It's a moon. It's a moon. They have a moon on their shirt. There we go. And we did pepper and cheese and pepper. So now I'm thinking we draw an animal. I was thinking about drawing an animal before, and then I totally spaced on what animal it would be. Maybe like I was thinking about drawing an umbrella. I was also thinking about drawing a duck. So I know it kind of seems ridiculous, but we could do a duck with an umbrella. Okay. Get your head right, duck. Get your head in the game. Okay, let's erase what's below the water. Let's fix his other wing. Bop, 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 bop. I was going to have him holding the umbrella, but I think it might be more interesting if something else is holding the umbrella. Like it's tangled in a tree branch or something. So let's figure that out. So let's draw the umbrella where we want it and then figure out how it's stuck there. Okay, goes through there, that goes through there, goes through, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, this one will be really kind of a little bit behind it, but that's okay. But it doesn't have to be perfect. We're still in the sketching stage. I used to fall into this trap where I would try to make everything perfect at every point in the creation process. And so I'd be here right now trying to like measure out the umbrella and make sure it was perfect and that it looked right and there was no mistake, which is silly because I might then go, oh, well, the umbrella doesn't belong here. And now like I'm really invested in the umbrella being there because I just did all this work to make sure the umbrella was there and that it looked right. And like that's no good. Um, hmm. Okay. I think the umbrella is a little high. Um, anyway, it'll probably be lower like that. How do we get this entangled in a tree branch? Do we just kind of draw a tree branch in front of it and hope it gets entangled by itself? That's kind of what I would do. It's kind of what I'm doing right now. Okay, we'll have a tree here on the shore, just a little bit of ways from where the duck is swimming and the umbrella is stuck. Maybe like back there, there's benches. Let me zoom out a little. Okay. You know, we could have the front of the umbrella. Yeah, we'll figure the umbrella out in a minute. Okay. So we can have a branch that kind of scoops up under here, and then we'll have like a branch back here that we can't see the whole thing of. And then there'll be some more branches up top, but let's say, okay, let's see. So this will come in front of the umbrella here. I'm going to erase the edge here. Okay. This branch will split off before it gets to the umbrella, like way back here. Come up, it'll split off. That one will go that way. This one will come this way. It'll interact with the umbrella, go underneath it. It'll come up here, it'll go that way, it'll go out. And there'll be another branch here that kind of comes up. And then, yeah, something like that. We'll have another branch here. We won't see that. That'll go off. Okay. Kind of coming out this way. Okay, I'm seeing my way to the umbrella being stuck on the tree now. Okay. And then maybe even some of these branches have fallen off. This isn't the first time it's got an umbrella stuck in it. Yeah, this will be the front. This will be the front line. And this will be the back line. And then some of this will be like over this branch. Here's a branch. That'll be solid right there. The umbrella's over that one. It's over this one. It's kind of through this one. It's over that one. Now it's like going back here, and then this is another bit of the branches going underneath there. Okay. I've worked my way towards the umbrella being stuck on this branch. I'm going to erase some of these guides. we're going to clear the way for the branches. I'm going to clear the way for, we're going to erase some of these guides I had for drawing the umbrella correctly. Okay, and now I'm going to color the inside and the outside of the umbrella differently because I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing what's what. And I think other people might be too, so I'm just going to do the inside of the umbrella gray like this. And we'll leave the outside of the umbrella not gray. We'll drop some little metally bits, kind of making the umbrella stand out a little bit more, making it seem a little bit sturdier. Okay. And then let's drop this straight back down. It'll go between the branches of the tree, so it's really stuck in there. And we'll do the handle like that. Is that straight from? No. So this is the 90 on the umbrella. So it actually would be there. Okay. All right. Actually, I think it would be even further. So we're just going to erase this handle for now. I think it might go behind the duck. Okay. But, so the idea here, this goes under, so. And it can be bent, so it doesn't have to be a perfect 90, but I think that would be good. Well, we'll figure that out in a second. So let's get the duck back where we erased them. So the idea is that the duck, it's raining. And it's raining in the pond. All right, this is the pond. Here's the water. This is the shore, which is not that far from where the duck is, where we are. This is the water. And we'll have some rain hitting that. And the duck is hiding underneath an umbrella, even though he's a duck. Because it's raining. And the old expression, what is it, like water off a duck's back? Like he could be out there. He's equipped to be out there. He's done it before. He just doesn't want to be out there. I feel like we've all been there. This duck is all of us. So that's the rain. Okay. Okay, let me this is just the sketch, so if we turn this into something, we probably wouldn't use it on this piece of paper. It started out a little rough. I will often make my finished piece on the same piece of paper right on top of the sketch. But sometimes it's like this, and it's just like there's so much cleanup that would have to happen if I wanted to do that. Oh, I'm using a mechanical pencil. ACD 3694. Yeah, I'm using, oh, hang on. I have one that has the writing still on it. There we go. I'm using a Graph Gear 500. You see that? And this one has 2B lead in it, which is like a darker lead than most. Oh yeah, you saw me erase. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so this one just, it's got a lot going on, which is fine. I used to like feel really weird when, like, feel dumb when there was a lot of like changes or a lot of stuff going on, which is silly. Just like make the changes you want to make because you want to make them. Don't feel, okay, so this probably had one. Don't feel obligated to the you of the past, even if the you of the past is you 5 seconds ago. Right? Like I drew this umbrella first because I liked the idea of it, and then it changed like 7 times before we got here. Because first when we put the tree in, then it would have to be different. Oh, thank you so much, CD. And you know, like your thoughts evolve as you see the drawing come to life. And so don't hold yourself accountable. Wait, hold yourself accountable. Don't hold yourself to the you from the past. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's younger than you. You ever think about that? I'm trying to figure out, hey Emily, welcome. Trying to figure out if I want to do, let's put some grass just next to the, like, is it springtime? Is it summertime? Does this tree have leaves? That's my next question, I guess. I mean, I'm drawing leaves, so apparently it does. Maybe it's like fall. Oh, yeah, let's make it fall. So there's only a few leaves. Maybe there'll be some leaves floating in the water. One of my favorite things about doing illustration is this type of time travel that you can do because you can just make it fall for like a character or for a scene or for you know, whatever reason, for fun. um yeah, and I really like that. I draw characters, a cartoon for my wife every day, and a cartoon a couple of days ago they were running through the fields picking flowers, and even though it's like totally winter here, but like a cartoon character, it can be whatever season they want it to be, or whatever season, like they can walk. This is the fall, right? So this duck could swim off to the side, and on the next panel it could be winter, or like it could travel 3 months, or it could be summer and it could travel 6 months just by moving one panel over. And I really love that about drawing cartoons, drawing like comic cartoons, or I don't do animated cartoons really. And there's just something It feels so great, so magical about that. And then it could come back and it could be fall again. Like it's not a. I don't know. I was just thinking about that yesterday a lot. I was just thinking about like how cool that is. And how in a way like it's not different from us. It's different from our physical bodies, right? We we cannot walk to the next panel and have it be summer. It is too if it's winter. If it's summer, you can walk to the next panel, it'll still be summer. Um but we can read a book. We can play a video game. We can watch a TV show and experience summer, experience fall, or experience basically like the next panel in a sense. Hey, Yasmin, welcome. Okay, let's get this deck a little solid. What? Oh yeah, let's just do that. I used to. All right, yeah, we can do that. Let me throw a little bit of color in this guy. And just quick color. A couple of these leaves. The duck's beak. And then let me look up Nick Jr. Cast of Go Go Go. I'll at least look it up. Man, this did not work good today. Yeah, this paper just picked it all up, spread it all around. Okay. Oh, nice. I always think about getting a haircut. Okay, I've seen some of these characters before. We can definitely draw the front one. What time? How long do I have? Okay. I'm gonna do like a violet, dark violet for the umbrella. My hair, I haven't gotten a haircut in quite a while. probably about 7 years. And before that, I cut my own hair for like a very long time. But it must be nice to have a haircut. Do you like it? Do you like the style or whatever, how it came out? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tenseis. Mia. Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah, my hair is long. It's the longest it's ever been. And like sometimes I want to cut it, but a lot of the times I don't. So I'm thinking about dyeing just the ends, and then I can cut that when I don't want to deal with it anymore. So I might do something like that. But I'm indecisive with my hair. Okay. Do a little purple for the water, especially along the edge. That's not dark enough purple. Let's use this one. And then we'll use a little brown. I guess we'll use this one. I don't know where all my browns are. I have this one. Oh yeah, it's this one. It's literally right here. I'm just gonna get some of this. This is like a dirt block. There's grass on top, and you see the brown going into the water. Okay. Yeah, we'll draw characters of them. Little chibi versions or something. It'll be good. I need to draw more people. I need to get better at drawing people. So it'll be good for me. I'm just gonna have to hold my hand above the page because of the dang smudging today. I don't know why it's so smudgy. I use this method all the time. I've not had uh, this kind of result before. Okay. All right, we're getting there. We'll have some. Oh yeah, we should do some blue too in the water. And then we'll do a little bit of green. I think purple, blue, and green, that kind of works. We'll do blue, more blue up front, more purple in the back, and more green in the middle and the back. Oh no. Was it with the stream or just in general? Because we were having a weird problem last week with YouTube. I don't know if it was just me or what, but it was a strange YouTube experience. Wait, was it the stream? Because I remember there was one stream last week where basically it was two people the whole time, which is unusual. Like it never went above two. And then like it kept saying people kept talking, so I knew people were here. I knew it wasn't actually just two, but it was like oops, I wanted a different green for the grass. Oh, actually, I want like a yellow or brown for the grass because it's meant to be fall. And just add a little brown. Add a little brown in with it. Get a little yellow in there. Throw a couple leaves on the ground. Okay. I think I'm gonna call this one. I think the only other thing I would do is add the rain, and I think the rain is best done. It's like so it's done on a different layer. Basically, if I'm gonna do the rain, I think I want to do it on the light table and on like a piece of vellum or even just another piece of paper. So add I can add I can add it with different effects or different I can edit it a lot. Oh, dang. Yeah, I'm sorry. That sucks to have your phone mess up. Okay, I'm just gonna try to see. I was meaning to do this before. Is that straight? And then it would come down like just behind the duck, because that would be fine if it's kind of just behind the duck. No, I think it's a little off. I think it's here, still behind the duck. Okay. All right, let me do some practice on some Nick Jr. characters. This is great. Really like this. We'll throw some. Okay. You know, I wonder if it was just the type of pencil I was using. If I erase this and use. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, that's last week. Okay. So we're going to try for simplified and chibi versions. I'm still using the wrong pencil. Where's the good pencil? I mean, they're all good. They're not bad pencils. Pencils aren't good or bad. It's the people who use them. Oh, it's literally right here. Okay. So we have the front one on the front woman. We'll do 3 heads. We'll make them all 3 heads tall. And she has kind of a bang. We'll do some big eyes. I used to do these caricature for like Homestuck characters and stuff when I was first doing the streams. Oh gosh. Okay, let me start again. Let's give us a center line. And we're just going to make everything a little bit bigger. Because I was thinking like, oh, I'll fit them all on one page, and that's silly. Don't do that. I'm talking to me. Don't do that, me. Okay. And then I also want everyone to have a big head because I like drawing characters with big heads. And maybe that's because I grew up in the in the 2Ks, and there was a lot of video games and different things that people just had giant heads for no reason. But probably I just because I think it's funny. Like why is your head so big? What do her eyes look like? Okay. Okay, I think I've heard of them before, but it's I'm not 100%. This one looks familiar. What? Sometimes when I try to do lips, they look crazy. And like I know it's just something dumb I'm doing, like not curving up the edges or not curving down in the middle. Okay. Eyelashes, human eyeballs. Okay. And now shoulders. Steve Leeds. Okay. We'll do. Can you describe what he looks like? Is he the guy who kind of looks like this? Can you see this? Yeah. Is he the guy who kind of looks like this? Okay, scoop neck. Oh yeah, scoop neck. And that's polka dot on the top. This underneath. How does this go? Like okay. To the waist. All right. And then skirt. All right. Okay. All right. That's the first lady. Is her? Let's do. Let's do a guy. Holly, thank you. We will do. I'm just going to do the guy I was just drawing. His head's a lot squarer. Okay. And his hair is like, yeah, if was that who I was drawing? Steve Leeds? I hope so. Okay, solid nose, pretty straight up and down. Like that. That sounds good. Very sort of clean cut and normal. He's kind of got Clint Eastwood eyes. Kind of just kind of stick out to the side like so. Oh, okay, okay. Carl wears a hat. He's looking right at us. Burrow's got a pretty good smile. Hang on, I somehow made him look doofy in the smile. We can fix that. Okay. Okay, all right, there we go. All right, okay. I don't I don't know if I've ever seen the show. Okay. I think that covers his smile, his ears, his hair. He's got like, oh, he's wearing a vest and a hoodie. That's what it looks like. Okay, so let's get his clothes in. One head, two head, and then the legs will come from there. He's just wearing jeans, shorts, maybe, so we'll figure that out. Okay. Shoulders. Oh, we gotta get a little bit of a neck in. Yeah, I don't know if I'll have time to listen to anything recently, but I'll look it up. I can't see how his clothes go. So we have shoulder, which will be like this vest thing. And then his arm will be like this blue sweatshirt. And then, oh yeah, this is like almost double. He's got some sort of hood going on over here. This is like double shirted. And then this is quilted on the top for warmth. And this is just a t-shirt underneath, and then some regular jeans, which are nice and easy to draw. Boom, jeans. Pockets. And then this is like a gray t-shirt, so we'll give him a little collar. That always sells the t-shirt. Okay, let's erase some of these guides. There's like a zipper, so it has like the zipper piece. And we'll get... All right. All right, well, that's actually time for me. But we can do another character another time. I got two. I think you got your favorite, right? Steve Lee, that's your favorite one? Does he have snaps? Snaps on here? This is like... No problem. You're always showing up. Thank you for that. I like to do requests when I have the time. All right. Thanks so much. We got... Oh, this is Steve. Steve Leeds, you said. I'll write that on there. Steve Leeds. And we'll save these guys for another time. And thank you everyone for showing up. Today we did some fun stuff. For a random day, it turned out pretty good. We just did Steve Leeds and Holly. We did this character here. I did this little spaceship from some sort of fictional universe. I did these characters while we first drew, these little weirdos. And then we did Space Girl. I will be live tomorrow afternoon for me. So like like 4 p.m. New York time. All right, thanks so much. Bye.